let's look at some of the criticisms, because I mentioned that, and I want to be specific. So this was one debate I was having the other days. I was like, we got to put a hold on this for Christmas. And whoever this person was, I think it was like a fake profile or something, was wanting to argue with me. And I was like, well, we'll put a hold on it for Christmas. But then after that, I was like, okay, send me your comments and all that. So here was one, and it's kind of the ongoing stigma or narrative that they try to craft around you and around me. And so this person says, Wes, you and your Democratic cohort are trying to push your liberal agenda of adding another layer of government that isn't necessary and will cost a lot of money that our neighbors just do not have. Open your eyes. Our community is struggling to make ends meet, yet here you are trying to increase our cost. It's a clear-cut tax and spend liberal agenda. Take that back from where you came. I think that's a pretty concise view of their narrative. And I was like, I was happy to see it all in like one comment. Yeah, this person articulated the case on their side pretty well, because you see kind of like the take that back where you came, right? We don't want it here, so there's kind of a nativist aspect of it. You don't know this place. You don't know what it needs, right? And then you see them constantly saying it's liberal, it's a Democrat agenda, it's partisan, and then it's just trying to increase our cost. And you notice in here there's no description of any benefit of any kind. I've had numerous anti-incorporation people tell me we will get nothing for home rule, that it's not a benefit in itself. So I thought this was a pretty good description of where they stand. What's your reaction to that? How do you, because I've seen you kind of have debates before, but I'd love to get your live take on when you see that description of what you're talking about. What do you think?
I hardly know where to start.
Okay. Pick a spot.
Oh, goodness. First of all, incorporation is not a partisan action.
Yeah.
There are towns all over the country that are both Republican and Democrat. Being a town is not being liberal. Being a town is protecting your people, protecting yourself, protecting your property, your neighbors. The home rule is a benefit. When we can make the decision here, ourselves, rather than relying on 5 commissioners that don't even live here.
Right.
Actually, our one that's for our district, I think, lives in Holly. So
right.
He doesn't even live here either. They don't have the knowledge of our culture. They don't know, what we feel, what we want. There was, not to get on a specific item, but I've been to many commissioner meetings and spoke at many. And there was one item, some people had gathered a group together. They wanted to have a place somewhere on the beach to have dogs.
Yeah.
Went before the commissioners, and I swear to God, one of the commissioners, who I won't name, said that if they let dogs on the beach, people will bring their pigs.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah, we're country, but we're not quite that country.
Yeah. So
I got some friends who have chickens, so they might bring their chickens.
Right, they might bring their chickens. It makes you just shake your head.
It's interesting because, so take that last point, because we're going to kind of get into all this, but take that back from where you came. How long did you say you've been here?
24 years.
Okay, got it. So when you're talking about like local knowledge should inform local decisions, you've actually got
a lot now.
Yeah, you've got the standing to know what Navarre needs, right? That's who knows, is the locals, right? The people that have been here, right, and known. So the whole idea of you being an outsider or all that stuff is just not true. And that's what I've noticed is a lot of people who are on the anti-incorporation side are just on the train, right? And they assume that everybody who's pro just must have moved here. They just think you're all suckers, right? They don't think that you actually see a value in this. But the value you're talking about is particularly for locals.
Yes.
It is your right to have government that answers to you, right? It is
and
your
that's
right.
the smallest government.
Yeah.
When we are just our town.
Right.
That's the smallest government.
I remember we had a meeting with the town center folks who were wanting to plan the town center, and we had that locally. We had that over at St. Sylvester's Church rather than up at Milton. And they had like over 100 people show up because it's right down the street. You can actually make it there after work, right? Having those meetings locally, you're going to get a lot more citizens who can make it. Trying to make the zoning meetings and everything else up in Milton, it's a nightmare, especially coming from the local base, or if you have to travel to Pensacola trying to get over there, it's hours. And if you got kids, like forget about it. But having something local, you can get a lot more participation. You're going to hear the citizens' voices a lot louder.
Exactly.
So it's that whole idea of you're an outsider trying to take over. No, I've met many people like you that are local who want this for the sake of having self-government.
Right.
Then the other part of it is I think a lot of people have just kind of lost any faith in any type of representative government at all. They don't think it's possible for anybody to represent them, right? And so they don't see any value to having representation. But that's where I go back to the Constitution, and that's the American ideal, is having
Right.
government not of kings and queens, but of elected representatives that we choose.
Right. And
Goes
our
back to that
city
choice.
council
Yeah.
would be made up of people from each voting precinct.
Yeah.
And
Well-
with maybe an extra one at the beach or
But see, that's the argument right there, is who is choosing the county commissioners? All of
will
the county.
vote.
All of the county is choosing the county
I'm sorry,
commissioners.
right, yes.
Yeah, so you mentioned Ray Eddington, who's our county commissioner, right? But everybody votes on Ray, right? And everybody's going to vote on whoever is next. Everybody votes on the county commissioners. Imagine a Navarre-only election where only Navarre is choosing that person.
Right.
And then they're sitting in the city council, and it's all locals, and it's all chosen by locals. And by
Right.
that we mean Navarre citizens. So again, getting back to a truly representative government, representative of Navarre, not the entire county.
Exactly.
And we talked earlier about how different Navarre is than the rest of the county, right?
Mm-hmm.
So it kind of refutes several of those points. Let's go through a couple other ones.